Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As we start this program, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, Israel and Hamas, Ukraine, or right here in Grenada, or even River come down. We speak about anything. We always encourage our brothers and sisters to educate your children on the names of the villages in the parish. Educate your children. Expand the vocabulary. Encourage them to know the names of the villages in the parish. Our schools are unproductive. They're not doing well. If 70% of the children that exit in school cannot meet the minimum requirements, then that school is unproductive. Now, you, the parents, could help. If you remember the song that is sung by the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, how could we sing a Lord's song in a strange land? For 700 years they were in the wilderness. Now, when we seek change, the change is not about us. The change is for the future. Many of us in the departure lounge. But over the years, we realize some of the challenges that we have. And we want to avoid other generations from having it. We have to do better for our children. I appeal to teachers. Don't let pride choke you. If you're in an education system and somebody is taking issue with your productivity level, examine it and see if there is any truth in it. If there is any truth in it, then re-examine yourself. 70% of the children that exit in school cannot meet the minimum requirement. It means they would not be as competitive on the job market as they ought to be. Today in Grenada, we have a hostile government against people in the lower income group. That is a serious policy blunder. If you're hostile against people in the lower income group and the productivity level in school is whop against people in the lower income group, you're destroying the future. Not the future for the select few, but the future of the whole country. So I constantly encourage you. I beg you. I plead with you. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to discuss the issue and see if there is any truth in it and see how we could address it to change the situation. If your child is 5 years old and your child is blind, what do? You send your child in the blind school. I don't agree with that. Because the blind school treats your child as a blind child that don't make much sense. They just quote yours. You know, in yesteryear, they used to call children dunce. They stopped that. They say they're academically inclined. They used to call children stupidity. They stopped that. They say they're physically challenged or they're mentally challenged. And they're not taking them seriously. We must look at the blind school in Grenada and wonder if the people who teach in the blind school are productive. If you're teaching children that are blind or children that are physically challenged, people that have eyesight problem, then why not teach them music? No, they would tell you if you lose one of the senses, the other senses develop. So if you lose the sense of your sight, you can see, the sense of hearing, you depend on it more, so you develop it. So they should teach music, should be a main subject in the blind school. Man, look at the number of blind individuals that make millions of dollars with music. So these people could amass income, money, and they could live a sense of independence. So now I wonder what people doing with this briefcase of certificate they have on their head, you know. Individuals go in university. You hear they have a double master's. They have a PhD. They have a doctorate. The walls full of certificate. How do you practicalize the certification? You're supposed to feel a sense of pride when children you teach do well. A good teacher always wants the students to do better than them. A good teacher wants the majority of children they teach to succeed. So if you're teaching maths and 80% of the children fail maths, I mean, you don't need a rocket scientist to tell you you do good. You can teach. I don't think you're malicious. I don't think you're bad-minded. You're just not motivated to teach. Now, how come we have all these teachers that did special education? We have a blind school in Grenada, and music is not a main subject matter in the school. And as one life parents love children, you know. I know they give them chocolate. They give them plenty food. They don't correct them when they do wrong. They ill discipline. And then the children turn a bag of problem later. But we have to practicalize love. I think preachers should start to telling people what is love. Because some people believe love is agreeing with your children, letting your children turn your friend. They believe love means your children must do what they want. No. You have to prepare your child for war. Outside there is a battlefield. And you have to make certain your child is capable. If your child is physically challenged, if your child is blind, if your child have problems with the eyes that is look later on they go blind, teach them music. Make certain that your child learn music. If your child seems that they could sing and already they are physically challenged, it becomes more important, more invaluable, more necessary to teach them music. I don't know if we have people to teach voice control or voice management in Grenada. Let me bring in some. Let us invest in music in the school. All the churches want the people to go to heaven. Well, teach them music in the church too. The church afraid if they teach music, the people go leave the church and go and sing pop music and make money and whine like Rihanna half naked. Nothing is wrong with that. Teach them still. Lord, I just ask when Grenadians go wake up. 70% of the children that go to school cannot meet the minimum requirement. So they are having problems on the job market. The reputable organization in the Caribbean says that 60% of the people looking for jobs do not have the talents, the education, the skills to get the jobs that are available. So it's not that we don't have jobs. You have jobs. But those who are looking for the jobs, not qualified. In yesteryear, we wanted big, strong men. When you go and write a letter, or you get somebody to write a letter for you, and you go home for a woman, they want to know if you could bust wood knot. They want to know if you're strong. In World War II, when Grenadians went down to look for jobs to go in the army, men was half naked, jumping up, showing their muscle, because they need physical strength. In yesteryear, when you choose policemen, you choose big men for policemen. Nowadays, if you're too big, they don't want you in police force, because when they fire a bullet at you, they go take you. You want smart people with brain, with education, with skills, with talents. And we have today a government that is hostile towards people in the lower income group. It makes it more critical for you to examine yourself. Yes, caller, welcome.
Morning, Tulu.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Now, you want a good topic, but I still have to talk about.
You could change the topic. Talk about what you want to talk about.
We had a disaster in St. Patrick yesterday.
A disaster is a strong word, you know. Disaster is a strong word. Nobody died. We had a lot of rains. We had a lot of rains.
Because of poor management in the drainage system, all over the place was in a mess, slides and thing. So I don't know if you heard about it. I don't think it's the whole country. I heard St. Patrick happened to benefit the worst.
St. Andrews, St. Patrick's, and St. Mark's, I believe, had the worst of the heavy rain. You had some, I don't know if flash floods is the right word, and you had some slides, and the drains were not able to carry the quantity of water, so you'd have had some losses. But I think disaster is too strong a word to use.
Okay. Even this morning, there is a little scraping up still doing so. That'll tell you how serious it was.
Yes, they have a lot of scraping up. Yeah.
I want to make a statement to this present administration. This present administration must realize that the people decide to administrate, and it is time that they stop mentioning mistakes of the former administration and concentrate on what them is going to do. They are going to do transformation. Do their transformation without mentioning the former and saying he what caused that. He speaking to them, and they say most people don't want to work now is because of Mitchell spoil them. Well, you know, in office, make the people want to work. Young boys don't want to work. That's what. Blaming the past administration about don't want to work. Also, I listened to the budget. Some of the ministers not defending the budget. All they what they do and what they ministerial up without show us how the budget going to be realistic instead of talking about past administration. I don't know if you agree with me. Talk about what them talk about what the past administration had its time, and it is them now. Is them what is there. I don't know if you agree on that point.
Well, yeah. It's a nice subterfuge, it's a nice excuse for the present government to put the emphasis on the past administration. Nothing wrong with that is politics. And you have to understand that the NDC going to switch everything to the next government, to the previous government. You can't tell them how to run their politics. If they could keep you defending the past government rather than questioning them, then they're correct. What you need to do is to listen to them and go back and ask them questions about the future. When the electorate went to the poll, they selected this government over the previous government because they want to see the country improve. They want better. This government made some promises and the voters was attracted by the promise. But nothing is wrong if the NDC propaganda machine could get everybody distracted from them and concentrate on Kit Mitchell. That is good politics, nothing wrong with that. I believe that it's important for us not to lose focus. One of the fundamental issues now, the Prime Minister must let us know who authorized the ambassador to sign the Somora document. It seems that the ordinary man gets quiet on that. And that is good for the NDC if they could distract you so much that you don't bother on the Somora document. If we have somebody in Grenada more powerful than the Prime Minister and his cabinet that is directing foreign policy, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. The Minister of Foreign Affairs did not authorize the ambassador to sign the document. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Andal, was fundamentally against the Somora document as is. He thought it was contravening the Constitution and was selling out our sovereignty to international organizations. This is strong words. I thought he evoked revolutionary fervor and conviction when he spoke. The Prime Minister of Grenada did not read the document. He didn't have a clue. He reacted to what the Archbishop said. He reacted to what one of the Archbishops said. But he was honest. He said he did not read the document. The ambassador could not have signed the document without authorization. If he did, he's a rogue. He's a traitor. He should be gotten rid of immediately. Who gave the authority to sign that document? If we know who gave the authority to sign the document, we might be closer enough to know who calling the strings in Grenada. Somebody other than the Prime Minister of Grenada and his cabinet is directing foreign policy. That is an important thing. And we must not be sidetracked. The government seems to be very hostile against people in the lower income group. We spoke about what they did to the elderly and the physically challenged by removing $150 from them. They never gave economic justification for the action. And to help buffer the impact of their raising the salary in a very unscrupulous manner, they gave $200 to some people. To some people. The government has reneged on the promise with the e-money. And the government has removed money from disadvantaged children to the extent that a number of children had to drop out from national college because of a direct result of the government action. I call on the Minister of Education to investigate the matter, and find out the children that drop out, why they drop out. Every year, children dropping out from college. So that is not much of an issue. But if they drop out because they was unable to pay the transportation to go, then that is as a direct result of the government policy. And that is wrong. Now you have to understand that this thing is existing against the background that the government have no problem for money. They sell over 11,000 passports. They selling passport, give Tom, Dick, and Harry. They say they don't watching color, they don't watching blood. And they have money. They're spending millions of dollars on independence celebration. They are attending galo. So money is not the overriding factor. So it must be important to us why the government is attacking people in the lower income group. And this is why I call on the ordinary man. You will not be able to change that during the NDC period. Based upon the NDC track record, there is not much you could do about it. But you could prepare that your children don't have to carry this burden. If you demand, if you seek, if you do what is necessary, your children will be more competitive on the job market. This is the worst time in our society for people who deserve a second chance. You're well aware that the Imani program was the best program instituted in Grenada in the last 100 years to give people a second chance, to create the conducive environment so people could get a chance to further their education, so people could get a chance of work experience, so people could get some sustainable money to survive while they make themselves more competitive for the job market. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Oh, no.
Great, man.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, the problem in Grenada is not money. As the Prime Minister said, there's a lot of money. They made a lot of money. So, and from the CBI passport, they make much more money, a lot of money, continue to make more money. So the problem is not money. And the Prime Minister said that the Ghanaian people need a lot of money. They need a lot of money. So if the Ghanaian people need a lot of money, and you know that, why you don't give them? So I want to ask myself a question. Who are the Ghanaian people? If it's the Prime Minister and his crony and his friend and his ministers, if they are the Ghanaian, and then who vote now is no Ghanaian? So if Ghanaian need a lot of money and they don't get it, and only the government ministers are getting, it comes now like the people who vote in the Ghanaian. In the Ghanaian, Mr. Pierre, when you look at this track record of this government, this is a track record they have. Whenever in government, NDC government, they don't see the people when they in governance. Only when they see the people, when the election and when they vote, They will made many promises. Promise that is unbelievable. Promise that the people know that cannot materialize, but they will made a promise. There's a full people. There's a full people. Look, Mr. Pierre, look at this Christmas. Christmas is money coming Christmas. And when you're passing down, you see people, but they don't have money. Right? They don't have money. I'm saying, if the government and a sunlight with the people of poor people of the country, if you give them $1,000 in your hand, it's spend 1,500. And where the money spending? Not outside the country, right in the country. And when the people have money in their hand, it benefits everybody. The poor man, those vendors in the market benefiting. But when they don't have to spend, it affects the family, it affects the business people, it affects the vendors in the market. And when you look at the track record of NMP in government, look right, within the next before 3 weeks before Christmas, you could feel the spirit of Christmas. Mr. Pierre, today is the 28th of the month, and then if Christmas is you have a month again to come after Christmas.
Yeah.
Because people want to spend, but they don't have money. I call upon the government. Look at the situation in the country. Look at the situation and try to help the poor and needy people. They need help. They need you. Because they vote for you to help them to make their life better, not to make their life more miserable. So to the Prime Minister, I want to say again, you are the Minister of National Security. Right? You have to put things in place for the security and the well-being of the country. Because you as a minister, yes, you might have the funnel of security. Right? But then, if you have someone under you, although he could go in history as the former commissioner of police, which is the advisor now to the present Prime Minister, he might know more of it. Take some advice. He might give some advice. Whatsoever little advice you give, take it.
Right.
Take it and put it into action, and for the security of our country. Because firstly, the security is for the people, the local people, and for foreigners that come in. Because if the country is not secure, tourism could be in a trouble. So, Mr. Pierre, that's my...
Yes, caller, thank you for your contribution. The number to call is 4420175. We're on Real FM 91.9. We're on YouTube, Greens News, and Facebook. Sometimes a lot of people call and you have to understand when the government say the people need a lot of money, you have to ask which people the government talking about. I don't believe the government talking about nasty people. I don't think the government talking about the people they categorize as greedy and needy and beggy. I don't believe the government concerned about classless people. And I don't think the government concerned about commoners. This government has created more fracture than any time in the country post-1983. More fracture. And some of the language used is unacceptable, objectionable, distasteful, demeaning, disparaging language. You don't use that language against your brothers and sisters no more. You don't call Grenadian classless villages. You don't identify villages as classless or nasty people or beggy people. But these are practically the mantra that help us to understand the philosophy and the policy of the National Democratic Congress. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
yes,
I would like you to put clarify something. I understand the 25%. It is alleged that the 25% you have to give to the civil servant or whatever is only about 9.5% they will get, because 10.5% have been paying going back to income tax, and then the NIS is getting 5%. 5%. I understand it's only about 9%.
Caller,
into that for me.
We cannot look at this thing in that way. If you everybody, if you get money, you have to pay nice. But it's your money. But you have to pay nice. In addition to that, there are some people that would get that money and the money that they get would not reach $3,000 a month. You're not paying personal income tax in Grenada if the money you get doesn't reach $3,000. Some people will have to pay more tax. But if you're making $2,000 a month and you get 25% of the month pay, it still wouldn't reach $3,000. So it's not fair to describe it like that. If the government giving 25% of your monthly money, is more money than you would have get if they wasn't giving you. So you have to say thank God. The government decided to give you 25%. Other companies and businesses that give workers an additional month's salary when Christmas time comes, or additional week salary, or some of them might give them material things. So the 25% the government giving is good. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. We lost the caller. So the 25% the government decided to give as a gesture, nothing is really wrong with that. You can't say, well, that will come on for NIS. I think workers will welcome it. Any additional money, workers get glad. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
I want to congratulate you on correcting this guy. Because we know definitely that 3/4 of the people doesn't pay tax. It's only who are above $2,000. I quite agree. That's the first time I congratulate you on doing something. Thanks a million, Mr. Pierre. Correct them when they're talking nonsense. Mr. Pierre, the government giving the poor and vulnerable $2,000. $200. What I understand is the people over 65 will be getting it. Well, the majority of people is over 65 who are getting this thing. So I don't know what they're calling about. I don't know what they're calling about now. The majority of people are getting poor relief is over 65. Some of them blind, some of them things, some of them can't walk again. They're getting the money. So I don't see what they talk about. It's up there. I listened to the debate and I was disappointed in the NMP. All that people talking about, Mr. Pierre, is how much money we spend. They had their budget for $29 million and they only spent 20. Mr. Pierre, that savings. That savings they have so they could spend elsewhere. What would these people? Every one of them. That's what they talk about, Oh, you have money there and they don't spend. Where they were spending this year, Mr. Pierre, these people spend $35 million to buy a piece of land, to build a teaching hospital and a veterinary hospital. You know them people and them vexed about that? They say that they shouldn't buy that, they shouldn't do that, they shouldn't spend money to upgrade the hospital and all kind of thing. What's wrong with these people? I find it embarrassing that the people of this country could say they don't need a hospital, a better hospital than what they have. They raise money. I go to America every time. I go in Barbados every time to get treatment. I say congratulations to this government for taking the bold step and I'm praying for it come in existence before I did. So if anything, I could get attendance to it.
Thank you.
I am happy for that. Mr. Pierre, I am proud of my government to the budget what they is there. Mr. Pierre, you have something for everybody. Number one, the unemployment will be dropping because the Prime Minister and the government, they renegotiate a hotel to bring in over 400 new jobs in this country. 400 Grenadians plus will be getting jobs. So when they talk about they don't say nothing. That is the most important thing, that people get jobs. So Pierre, we bring it down. By this time, so next year, the unemployment will drop into under 10%. Believe me. It moved from 18% to 11.9%, 12%. Next year, please God now, so it will go down to 9%. Mr. Pierre, take it.
Thank you,
Have a
caller.
good day, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, I just going to make 2 comments on your post. You see how the caller listened to me when I was correcting him. The caller made his statement and I give me open and he listened to me. So I hope when I'm correcting you, you listen to me too. And you see how I give you opportunity to say what you say. I am totally against the government building a teaching hospital. It is not necessary. What the government need to do is to provide medical service in the hospitals and facility we have in Grenada. In the St. Patrick's here, we need medical doctor, dentists, and psychologists 24 hours a day, 24/7. If the government do that, and the government do that in each parish, there will be less routine calls at the Princess Alice and St. George's Hospital. And they could be improved into major medicals. You cannot not spend 27 million and people calling for drugs in the hospital and you can't buy. It means you just put a number. You didn't have the money. You just put a number there. Or is it is bad management? The hospital crying out for drugs and basic bandage. Shirley Ann Robinson begging to come and dress her foot. While you leave 27 million there. That don't make no sense, Carla. So the NDC always like big projects. That I believe they want to make a big money from it. They're not genuine. If they was genuine, they cut short some of the medical hours in the hospital, in the medical clinic in St. Patrick's. Provide medical doctors there. Provide dentists there. More people going to use the service. Less people going to go to Maribor, Princess Alice, and St. George's. Yes, caller, welcome.
The other man do have money. Because you come and finish. When you get money again. Huh? And some, you know.
I don't know. They sold 11,000 passports. They have over 300 and something million from passport. They met over 530 million in the treasury. So it seems they have money. They expand their salary by more than 100%.
They get him memorial Vinci Prime Minister, you know.
This government is a kind of greedy, vulture type of government, you know. And I against the hostility towards people in the lower income group. It's not necessary.
Yeah, man, because I find popular balling, man. Popular balling in Grenada, man. Yeah, man. It's advantage, man. But then the weather too.
Yes, scholar, thank you. The sister, I think, is I listened to Simon Says, and she coined the term the National Deception Congress. And I have to agree with her. The National Deception Congress. I have to agree with her. I think NDC more and more is deceiving people. You see, I told you, I don't mind if they like the teachers. You know. I won't take issue with them if they like the police or public officers. If they tell lie to lawyers, I don't even bother. These people have strong representative bodies. And they are the top echelons in academia in our country. So if you like them, no problem. But they lie for the money. They lie for the elderly and the physically challenged and disadvantaged children. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my sister.
Yes, I heard your partner was talking about what and hospital and hotel. The hotel, and then he talking about it. Under whom government, this hotel and them start in Grenada.
They say government is a continuum, so they go take the praise. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, let them take the praise, but I know it's not them because they was against it.
But sometimes you don't remember, you see. Sometimes people forget it's not them.
Especially the one who was building in St. David there. They've had a lot of things about it and they don't condemn it. And all what NNP did, they condemn the stadium and say it's a white elephant Kit Mitchell's doing there. And everything Kit Mitchell tried to bring in to invest in the country, they condemned it. And then after them coming to take the praise. But this hotel is bragging about it. It's not NDC thing. No, I don't see nothing NDC start from thing in Grenada here to say to help the people. Because look at the road of Christmas time, they give 4 fortnights, as they said. Well, on my area here, every person I can tell you that go and sign a contract is a NDC. The people and them they have in the area here, every person that went and signed a contract by the time is NDC people. And you know what happened? Somebody with the 4 fortnights, some of the contractors they send with the NDC paid of the work, some of them they get 2 fortnights. 2 fortnights, and very, very little of the other side NNP they give a day work. I can tell you and I see.
Well, they say it's their people they give in. You know, that is foregone conclusion.
They give all of them.
They say don't employ the NNPs.
And listen, some of them work with the husband,
children,
work with the children.
And some that even walk in work.
Yes. They give partly all of them 2 fortnights, 1 home, 3 fortnights to go and sign for the head. And very little NNP people that get at the work. I could tell you I living in Monfan area.
But as I pass along, I observe them and I notice.
They know me voice, so
yeah.
Let them who want to attack me, let them come. I'm waiting for them. They're too wicked. So you see, not only the head was wicked, the people on the ground.
Well, the NDC advocated restorative justice. Yes, that is political vengeance.
Yeah, when it was Mr. Time in the area, we don't choose nobody to send out to work. Whether you could be ABC, you could be NDC, you could be GOLP, you could be who. Everybody who she could think with the how much partner going to be, go in and sign contract. But this time, only the close NDC people they know that vote for NDC, they send and sign contract.
Yeah.
Yes, my dear. So that is so. So from the head to the tail, all of them is just listening some wicked set of people.
Well, you see, yes, scholar. And that's one of the challenges we have. When the government, the ministers, the prime minister, when they use this kind of language, when it goes down on the ground, it's worse. That's why you find exuberant NDC members saying, let us starve. They're going to pound stone in the river. Don't give them work. Because the government themselves are saying, beggy. How could you call villages classless? The Prime Minister has never disassociated himself from the statement. The only justification given for the Prime Minister not occupying the house that is designated for him is because he will be overlooking classless villages. The foreign minister continued to speak about his good people, nasty people. Well, the new minister, she gets so good, she said commoners. So who are they referring to? Not members of the NDC. And that's the challenge we have. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Yeah, sometime last week, a gentleman thought or said that I was running on against giving.
Well, that's since last week.
Yes.
Forget him. When you
I won't forget him because
caller, listen to that. Caller, listen to that. What you need to know is to call and make your point and forget whether somebody call and say that since last
Yeah,
week.
but if somebody is wrong interpreting you or
All
wrong,
right, go ahead. Go ahead.
saying things about you that is
Go
not
ahead.
true, you have to clear the air times.
Go ahead.
The gentleman doesn't know that I of the poor people getting houses. Mountain Estate is one of the estates where you had more than 3/4 of the people working in the estate, living on the estate. And I was part and parcel of that. I know a bit about it. Right? So I'm aware of what I'm saying, and I'm aware of what happened with people. And I never will against anybody giving, any government giving lands to poor people. Never wouldn't be a thing from that. In Telescope, I with my mother, I secure a spot of which my sister is living on it now in Telescope in the early days of Mr. Gary. So I know about it and I'm aware of it. So I don't want people to wrong interpret me, they don't understand what I say and go with the wrong impression. Believe that I against poor people getting. Never in history I will be against poor people getting what they do to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. And you see, once you hear we on the radio and we expressing we opinion, people is going to express their opinion. And opinions are not facts. They are opinions. Now, your opinion is based upon the information you have and your own prejudice. That is when I hear people say no apology for the opinion, I just smile. Your opinion is based upon the information you have and your own prejudice. So if you have a medical problem, you may not be interested in my opinion. You may go and ask somebody that trained as a medical doctor for his opinion. But if you want to talk about rum shop politics, you go ask me about my opinion. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, I would like to make an appeal to the nutmeg farmers to call a special general meeting in the very earliest time in the new year. That meeting should be to dissolve the board and to fire the manager. The GCNA board is not giving satisfaction to the farmers, and the manager is not bringing benefit to the farmers. You cannot have a manager who is not bringing any benefit to you, and to have him still in your employment. And therefore, both the board and the manager must go for violating the ordinance. When you look around in the rural communities, especially in St. Andrew, which is a big nutmeg producing area, you can see the effect in the economy that when we used to get back pay, our economy used to be very vibrant. The absence of bonus in Christmas time is having rippling effect on farmers in our communities. They must launch an inquiry into the Nutmeg Association dealings. When you look at the number of receiving stations that have been closed down, they need to do an audit and to know what is the value of GCNA. GCNA had an agent in Europe, Mr. Hakamoff, and that gentleman used to sell all GCNA nutmeg, and we used to get benefits from selling our nutmeg. Dr. Stephen Fletcher said that he did his thesis on GCNA. So I would like him to advise the farmers and to tell farmers why they are not getting back pay now, because he did his thesis on GCNA. No, we have to understand. I want farmers to understand, especially small farmers. The GCNA belongs to you. The Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association belongs to you. Between 1939 and 1945, World War II, when Francis Noel bought all the nutmeg that was available at war price, and when after the war and the market was open, he made millions of dollars. As a result, T.E. Noblesmith assisted small farmers to form the GCNA. The GCNA had a probation period of 3 years from 47 to 50 to ensure that the GCNA is workable and the ordinance was put into law in this country. 70 years later, farmers are not getting the benefits from that organization, and they must call a special general meeting. The ordinance must provide from that, dissolve the board, put an interim in place pending the game, and fire the manager because he's not working in your best interest. This is my contribution towards the GCA.
That's a very powerful contribution. It needs a lot of discussion. It needs a whole program for itself. And we have to encourage farmers to discuss this issue.
Well, like they don't know the GCA belongs to them, Mr.
I don't know. It's sad.
Because every year they call, oh God, they don't give us this, they don't give us nothing. The thing is your money. It's your money. Every time you sell nutmeg, they are taking out a percentage to pay you at the end of the year.
And the board is as deceitful as the NDC, you know.
But Mr. Pierre, let's look at it. At the end of June, at the financial year, right? I grew up in a nutmeg community, a very powerful nutmeg community. Our farmers used to use the bonus and go to the penny bank. That time it wasn't corporate, they didn't call it cooperative yet.
Penny
bank, right? And take a loan on the bonus because when they tabulated how many pounds of nutmeg and mace they sold in the financial year, they knew what the back pay was.
They knew what the back pay was.
They knew what the
Bodgrove, Paraclete, Hermitage, man.
Huh? Bodgrove.
Paraclete and Hermitage.
Yes.
Heavy nutmeg area, man. Music eating pin, champagne bottle busting, bow, bow, bow.
Let me tell you,
dance.
There's a gentleman in our community, right? When he goes to the shop where the guys who lime and cook the tattoo and thing, when he arrives in the shop, he used to tell them, when bucking tongue, no other gun smoke.
No other gun smoke, man.
Yeah, bucking tongue. You know, and he ordered no more bottle of whiskey, rum for the boys. You understand?
Yeah.
Bucking tongue, no other gun smoke.
Franco and them was heavyweight, you know.
Obviously. You know what I mean?
Well, when you come in Paraclete, all the foresters, the Macintosh, the Gales, the Rush, the Millets, the Cummins.
Tom and Evans and Mopson.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And today, when you go up to Bodgrove, you're in a cemetery.
Yeah, Ghost Tongue now.
Ghost Tongue.
Yeah.
And the next point I would like to make, Mr. Pierre, right? The last one. No, police. I understand from chatters on the street that now police is been given 3 weeks at the training school and then they are put into mainstream. Policing is not a crash program. When John Hawley and in the colonial time, when people were selected to be as recruits for the Royal Grenadier Police Force, they were sent to Barbados for 6 months. I think it was Kensington College, and that apparently that was a college for recruits in the Lesser Antilles, you know, the OECS, the Windward Islands and Leeward Islands. The police went to Barbados for training for 6 years. In the early 70s, after Expo 69, and you had all the motels and a number of buildings down at Chublu. So Eric Matthew Gary brought in 2 top police officers from Nigeria, Usain and Olakilomi, to train Grenada police. So Grenada police was not going to Barbados any longer. They established the police training school in Grenada under Usain and Olakilomi and the word chief of police they were then referred to as Commissioner of Police. John Hawley was our last chief of police. But from Houston to Olakilomi, the word was changed from chief of police to commissioner of police. And therefore, I also brought in Duncan, a guy from St. David who was in the Jamaica regiment, to serve as the drilling instructor. Because when Jamaica got independence, many Caribbean nationals was invited to join the Jamaica regiment. And so Duncan, who was a member of the Jamaican regiment, came back home and was the drill inspector. Policing is not a crash program. Grenada Police is immigration, Coast Guard, traffic, fire, Federal Latino officers. How come
CID?
How come you could take you could say you could train a recruit for 3 weeks and put him into mainstream policing? That is not possible, Mr. Pierre. And I wish that if that is what is happening, that they must reconsider that aspect of the Royal Grenada Police.
Yes, scholar, thank you as our time run out. And remember, on this program, we provoke discussion. We don't have answers, but we want you to discuss the issue. We don't want to forget, the Prime Minister must let us know who authorized the ambassador to sign the Somora document. Otherwise, fire the ambassador is a rogue. In addition to that, we must remember that the blind school must teach music. There are so much opportunities if some of our blind children become exceptionally good in the music area. We have to remember that the gentleman speak about Gary days, he took offense. Gary had 28 schools in 13.5 years. St. George's University, Land for the Landless program, technical education, pre-education, independence, and promoting gender equality and women. And we had a woman governor, and we had 3 women running for election in Grenada when the other Caribbean islands did not have that amount. And it continued. And Gary was one of the most democratic leaders that passed in Grenada. He was one that called election early. When he felt he had issues of discontent among his ranks, he called election. So it's nothing to be, if somebody make a statement about Gary, you could feel good when you speak about him. And we want to encourage you also to share our program. You must always share our program. Even if you don't agree with it, share it and see if your friend wouldn't agree with it too. And remember, you don't have to agree with us. We encourage people to hold discussion among yourselves. And we must do something about the fact that 70% of the children that exit in school cannot meet the minimum requirement. They're not competitive on the job market. And we're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch.